I came to slay you, white Noctua knight. You shall not pass. Ka-chow! What? Care to explain what was that? I remember specifically giving you this cooler to do like benchmarks and proper review. What in the name was that? But I have, man, they were having an ultimate fight and the DeepCool was about to ka-chow the Noctua and you interrupted. Oh, DeepCool was about to ka-chow you. So the DeepCool Assassin IV is here, guys, and the question remains the same. Can it beat the legend, the Noctua NH-D15? What's up, good people? My name is Vlad, and that is, of course, the latest Assassin IV from DeepCool. New design, stealthy looks, it has awesome RAM clearance, but does it have what it takes to go head-to-head with NH-D15? I mean, can it ka-chow it? Word from a sponsor and we will find out. Looking for affordable Windows or Office keys? Look no further, I got you covered. Head over to scdkey.com, pick your Windows edition, use my discount code LE25 to get a 25% on any Windows or Office products. Once you complete your order, after a few seconds you will receive your code. In Windows, go to Settings, there should be an Activate Windows prompt at the bottom. Click that, enter your code and wait for Windows to finish activation. To check the activation status, use the command prompt with the command slmgr.vbs/xpr and you should receive a notification that the machine is permanently activated. Once again, use code LE25 at scdkey.com. So this is the latest premium cooler by DeepCool. This is the fourth iteration of the famous Assassin line. It's aimed for the best performance possible. So the dimensions of this one are 147 by 147 by 146 millimeters and it weighs 1575 grams. It's a beefy cooler, but what separates this cooler from the bunch of other coolers is its stealthy looks. Sleek design language that DeepCool has on its latest products, so it's kind of blend with the build, looking all stealthy there. I mean, if you look at this cooler, it is most certainly not the traditional tower CPU cooler, it's more of a cube. But this cube packs some interesting features inside. So first of all, contrary to the traditional fan orientation, you would be surprised that this CPU cooler is actually using a pull-pull configuration instead of the traditional push-pull. So the fan on it's actually a reverse blade fan, so this is an exhaust fan that goes to the back of the case instead to the front closer to the RAM sticks. But DeepCool did this deliberately to make sure that this cooler has a maximum RAM compatibility. And this leaves your precious good-looking RAM visible at all times. So in the front region we only have these square pattern heatsink design, much like on the AK series of coolers. But if we remove this metal mesh cover, which is magnetically held here in place, you can notice two notches. You just pinch these two and you gain access to the inner 140mm fan. And this fan is pulling air from the front, which is marked by the arrow on the cooler itself. The exact model of this fan is the DFR1402512CH, and this actually signifies that it's a 140mm fan, 25mm thick, and it's a 1700 RPM PWM fan. The fan on the rear sits in this plastic frame. It's a reverse blade fan, so it does not intake but rather exhausts air at the back. So you can easily take this off. I mean, just look at this, you can take it off, do not be scared of the process. And there are actually several steps, if you will, at which you can clip it back. You can clip it back like this. It's taller in that manner, but this is done to avoid any clearance issues with your VRM heatsinks, because this side is going to your motherboard, but it's actually compatible with most of the boards on the market. I agree that it breaks the visually great looking tower if you do so, but at least you have the option to do so and avoid any potential issues or the incompatibilities with your board. Since it is using the pull-pull configuration, DeepCool made fins on the heatsink more convex on this side where this cooler is, so they would not interfere with air passing through or creating any unwanted dead zones or turbulences. There is one more cool feature on this heatsink. There is a little switch in the upper right corner. It has 2 squares on the left side and 4 squares on the right side. To the left, this is a reduced speed mode around 1300 RPM, since DeepCool includes a low noise adapter directly on the cooler itself. You'll see in the moment when we check the base of the cooler, and on the right side it's a full speed 1700 RPM mode. To be honest, the fan is super quiet even at full speed, but letting users pick the desired speed range is also a smart move by DeepCool. If we check Noctua and DeepCool side by side, they are very similar size-wise, same dual tower heatsink design, but DeepCool wrapped the package better if you ask me. I mean, the NH-D15 is a legend, and honestly I don't know what kind of voodoo magic Noctua did to it and how they predicted the future of cooling, as it still holds up today. The base on the DeepCool is wider to be more adjusted for the modern CPUs, since they are more rectangular rather than square. And it also has one more heat pipe. It has 7 in total and all of them are 7mm thick. Technically, it's the number of heat pipes that is responsible for better cooling. You can see that included capacitor for the fan speed reduction now directly on the cable. It's a similar approach to what Noctua did with ultra low noise adapters. The DeepCool has it directly built in, and then you can use this switch on the cooler itself, which is much more convenient. Oh, also, if you flip the switch to slower speed, the DeepCool logo gets dimmed and brighter once it's at full speed mode. Regarding the mounting hardware, it comes with everything so far. All Intel sockets are supported. Worth noting, it comes with metal backplate for Intel, so no bending issues, and it also comes with AMD AM4 and AM5 mounting hardware. You also get this padded screwdriver, which has a Phillips head on one side and Allen key on the other side, since they decided to use Allen key for the fan mounting. But I don't see the reason behind this move, since you can use regular fan screws here, the regular Phillips head screws. Okay, in the box you will be getting a DM9 premium thermal compound and also another fan shroud. This is if you wish to add a third 120mm fan to the front of the cooler that would be overhanging the RAM sticks for additional cooling, of course. But what about that battle from the beginning of the video? Is it better than Noctua here? So here are my tests. I tested it with Ryzen 5 7600X and also Intel i9-12900K. While using it on AMD, it held actually pretty amazing, since Ryzen 7000 chips are notoriously hot by the design. This particular model here is designed to max out at 90 degrees and stay there. DeepCool managed to keep it maxed out at 86 degrees at all the time without ever needing to drop the clock of the CPU. But more interestingly, if you set a negative offset to the curve optimizer on the CPU and do not touch the limits, it keeps it at 80 all the time, never exceeding, and clock actually raises to 5.3 GHz on all cores during the Cinebench R23 and AIDA64 stress tests. Pretty dope and pretty cool results. The idle for this CPU was around 43 degrees. Again, AMD CPUs operate now much differently to the Intel counterparts. While gaming, the temperatures ranged from upper 50s to mid 60s. So back to the Intel now. 12900K stock settings, Assassin IV managed to keep it around 89 degrees under max stress tests, but since I undervolted AMD, I did the same to Intel, adding a minus 0.1 volts for the undervolt, and it drops the max temps to a reasonable 81 degrees. So if you look at the charts, it's trading blows with Noctua, literally trading blows and giving similar temperatures. The idle on Intel was 30 degrees, and while gaming it was mostly in the mid 50s depending on the title plate. It's worth noting that DeepCool stayed very quiet during all the tests. The maximum noise was around 44 decibels at max load. To my ears it sounded less audible than Noctua. Even though the decibel difference was small, I could clearly hear the Noctua fans being louder. This level of performance is comparable to a better 240mm AIOs on the market. If you want to use these coolers on Intel 3900K or Ryzen 9 7950X, you can do so too, but if you push them harder, I am afraid that both Assassin IV and D15 will not do the job, and you would need 360mm AIO for that for sure. But this is purely if you push your CPUs with heavier workloads like constant rendering, video editing and similar. For gaming, you are pretty much fine, and they will keep your CPU in check regardless if it's Intel or AMD CPU. Anyhow, DeepCool is climbing that cooling ladder, and they have reached that NH-D15 level of performance for the price of $99.99. This is a great cooler, there is no doubt about that. The performance is there, noise levels are more than decent, but the best thing about it is its stealth appearance. I mean, this is a thing of beauty and the beast in one neat package. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel, it really means a lot. And if you have any questions about either of these CPU coolers, feel free to ask them in the comments. I'll make sure that this guy here does not ka-chow you. See you in the next one.